It is day of mourning, Dave.
Was that?
It is day of mourning.
Oh Jesus! Why now?
Streaming?
Yeah. Let me mute the thing, and you can hold up. All right, say something.
Hello.
All right, you're not muted. Go ahead. Trades? What? And fantasy? Oh, and crypto. Oof. Yeah, rough day. Ugh. Yeah. I mean that sucks. Oh, that's good. That'd be good. I'm about to mute you on the
Yeah, you're good.
stream audio just to see.
When's homie join?
I believe around 8, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So for now, just chill. I'm sending out the promo tweet at the moment.
Yeah. Oops. Turn that on so we can see what people see. There. It's a little better.
I went live on TikTok earlier while Doublelift was going on his second day in a row of ranting, just to get everything out of the way there.
How'd it go?
I mean, I had like 10 concurrent viewers at the time.
But
But
it's not too shabby though.
Oh, Doublelift messed up so bad.
How?
He goes from giving like specific examples of how TSM is like how Reggie's horrible, like how he's making people cry, all this, etc., stuff like that. And then he makes a quick like offhand comment about like how TSM's the type of org to cover up sexual assault. And he like I don't think he realized the severity of what he said until chat started freaking out, and understandably. And he quickly came back and clarified. I was like, no. Just to be clear, like that's not like anything that they've done. I was providing an example. It's like, dude, the fact that you just casually drop that, don't understand the context of which you're talking about and how that can be taken, shows why you shouldn't be putting this stuff on social media.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing to comment about. I mean, that's a huge topic.
Why would you ever say that?
You don't have a social media team behind you?
I don't know.
So you don't realize that everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of social media? Literally everything.
It was just like, you have to be smarter than that, dude. And my point on all that is like, if you're gonna talk about that stuff and like make accusatory statements, file a lawsuit. Like if it's really that bad to the point that you're trying to make it out to be for the clickbait, file a damn lawsuit. Don't sit here and vent it out on Twitch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, settle your beef in private and shut the hell up. Same goes like Reggie's in a lose-lose position now because like you have to address this in some capacity. So like, what do? Do you put out? Here's the two things. Do you put out an official statement, okay, that obviously is crafted, is well thought out, that people are just gonna pick apart and be like, oh, your lawyers are just saying this, you're covering up, etc. Or do you go on Reddit, post another clarification comment and people ring you out for being unprofessional for running a multi-million-dollar company. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, there's no winning if you're Reggie here anymore. Just like, ugh, freaking kids, man. I say that as we're all around the same age, but freaking kids, man.
Yeah, I mean, he meant what he said, obviously. I'm just trying to think of, like, how you word it. I don't know how to even word it. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you can't. That's the thing. I don't know. That's just it's a terrible idea. I should probably type out, or I should probably put this tweet in the content thing. Coco, I'd appreciate you not barking during the entirety of this podcast, please. That would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, how's your week been, though?
Well, other than the thing today, really good. Kind of stinks I have drill this weekend, but that's whatever.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Gotta go to a job that I am probably gonna leave soon, so kind of awkward, but whatever.
I mean, that's probably most people in most jobs, if we're being honest.
True. That's a good point. And I like my friends there, so that helps a lot. And the management of my group does not hate me, so that helps a lot too.
I was gonna say, I'd imagine that would help a good bit.
They all think I'm funny, which is really all that matters in corporate America.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that twice.
That's how I survive.
Gotta learn how to play the politics.
You know me and a good faking it till you make it game.
Dude, that's all of us. Oh, did you see what Immortals announced, by the way?
No. Are you talking about the Michigan thing?
No.
Oh, what is this?
They announced a fan league that you have to be under platinum. And you go in and you form a team as part of a fan base for your LCS org, and you play in Ovally, and Captain Flowers are casting it. Immortals is handling all the back end of, like, making sure, like, it's all handled through the team's discords. It's all done that route. I immediately, the second I saw it, I sent it to Jaybert, I sent it to Kenta. I was like, guys, we were ahead of the curve, but Pancake fucked it all up.
Are we making a team?
No, I'm not. There's no, because you actually have to be like a fan, and unless TSM gets into it, which you'd only play for them given your public. Like, it'd be this is one of those things where you actually genuinely have to be a fan.
Oh, really? We can't just make an Optic team as a joke?
No, because you got LCS people involved. Like, Ovally and Captain Flowers are actually casting this. I mean, I could. You know what? Fuck it. Let me
tell them we're 100 Thieves fans.
Hold up.
I know all the players. I know all their history. I can lie.
The thing is, the 100 Thieves one would be run through their thing.
Oh. Imagine, though, that one possible guest we get comes on, and I talk to him and then lie about who my team is in his tournament.
Hold up. I'm saying a request to Ovally, Captain Flowers, and Immortals. I have a 5-man squad that repped Optic
League of Legends
Gaming, LOL, in a similar league 3 years ago. We will gladly play in this as a quote legacy slash legacy slash extinct org.
You know what? A good question is,
we have Optic Discord support.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. I've been
Love it.
just got home like 20 minutes ago, so I'm getting things sorted. But
Oh, you're good. You're
Take
fine.
your time.
I'll be ready. How about yourselves? How are you guys doing?
Oh, really good. Good day.
Paul, don't let Paul lie to you. He's having a shit day. He's a
What?
he's a TSM fan. He's been crying in his sleep, trying to like the end of every message that he has sent me has been Chovy in some capacity. That's
Yeah.
his method of coping.
Poor thing. No, I feel for you. When you open Reddit and the top thing is Doublelift and Reginald, then it's just over. It's just, what else can you do?
Yeah.
In my
Yeah.
case, use it as leverage for shit talking. That's my methodology.
For sure, it's great content. At the very least, it's amazing content.
Smooch.
You say Smoj, I say Pog.
Well,
Tomato, tomato.
I'll miss him.
And you'll miss Worlds too. But, you know.
Oh,
Okay,
not when we get Chovy.
You're not getting Chovy, Paul.
The writing's on the wall, dude.
Let him dream. Let him dream.
Look, this is the first time that 100 Thieves has ever had the high ground on TSM, and I'm using it to the fullest for as long as I can take it.
Right after we announced Chovy.
God damn it. Just a week ago, you were praying that Spica was God and Spica was going to carry you to everything, and now all of a sudden you've abandoned ship. Spica is just a pebble in the pond, and Chovy is the ocean.
No. Chovy and Spica are going to be the greatest jungle mid duo in the world.
Really? Because we're getting Niski Blabber back. And if I recall correctly, they were arguably the most dominant mid-jungle duo we've ever seen. So...
Yeah, but Spica Chovy transcend time. CV Max said that Chovy understands time when he plays League of Legends. Did you read that interview?
No, I did not.
There's an interview where CV Max said that when he watches Chovy play the game, it looks like he's transcending time. So you just wait.
How much coke was he on when he said that?
Watch. I want you to watch when Bjerg plays Zillion and Chovy beats him because he is time. You can't play a time seeker into time.
The only reason Bjergsen's coming back is because he saw Zillion being pulled out on the final stage. He was between retirement and enjoying that nice TSM equity check. Okay, and Team Liquid reached out, was like, okay, we got some money for you. He was torn. It was a lot of money, wasn't sure. But then he saw the Zillion support picket locked in, and he just thought, you know, I could do a little bit better. Instead, he'll settle for a 1-5 group stage, and we'll all cry at the end of next year as well. But at least we'll get to cry in person.
I mean, we're not. TSM's gonna win it all, dude.
If you think that TSM's finishing any better than 4th, you're out of your mind.
I mean, Chovy can't even understand what Reginald's saying when Reginald tries to make fun of him, so we're gonna go to Worlds. That's literally the secret. The whole team will speak Korean so Reggie can't bully them. That's the plan.
Wow, I just thought about that. They actually could.
Yeah.
Wait, does Tactical know Korean?
I don't know. Sure.
That's a big assumption there. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say that.
He's already jumping in with Tristana W's when he knows the language. What's he gonna do when he doesn't understand his teammates?
Okay.
Am I wrong? You're gonna look at me and tell me I'm wrong?
No.
Chovy came down with a rocket, dog.
Chovy.
I don't remember that whole phrase. Do you know the thing that I'm talking about? Paul?
No.
You've never seen
No.
that she came down in a bubble dom? It was two
No.
friends arguing over the Wizard of Oz, and they get into like a heated argument. And the one guy's like, he came down in a bubble dom. You're gonna look at me and tell me I'm wrong? The dude like pulls out a knife and is like, I'm gonna kill him. And they just start bickering for like 20
I
seconds.
remember that video. He's like, the Wicked Witch of the East, bro. That was such a good video. Yeah.
She's a princess.
Yeah. And he was like, her sister is a witch. Which witch? The Wicked Witch of the East. I'm like, oh my god, like they're going crazy.
TikTok dug that up for me like 2 days ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it ever since.
Oh yeah, it's a classic at this point.
Wow. I was going through trying to see if Tactical knows Korean, and I just read a Reddit post from a year ago on Team Liquid subreddit that said Core JJ said Tactical reminds him of Ruler. What if this is the best team of all time?
That's not a shocker. Core would say that.
Do you see the bullshit I have to deal with on this podcast? Thank God you're here to finally help talk some sense into this guy.
No worries, no worries. Here to help.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Not
Let
my
me
fault.
let me give this a formal intro so I know when to timestamp this on YouTube.
Right.
And then we'll go straight into it. We really don't have like a set docket of topics. I figure this is one of those things that's going to be very free flowing and evolving, and just wherever we take it conversation wise we can, because obviously it's very broad.
Right. That sounds about right to me too.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Crossover Podcast. We are all now able to drink. It is episode 21. We are adults. We are 3 years old in dog years. We have officially made it. But more importantly, we have a special guest today. Somebody who's been on my radar for, I don't know, like 4 years now or so. Like ever since I started getting in the league. His World's Hype videos have been the staple of kicking everything off formally. It is Silvxs. He's a video producer. He's done work, I believe, with the LCS, if I'm not mistaken. I think you had the LPL tagged for a little bit. Welcome, and if you want to give an introduction on yourself, go right ahead.
Yeah. Hey, like you said, I'm Silvxs. I am a video producer. I started around 5 years ago. I just put out a random World's Hype video on Reddit. Didn't think it would go anywhere, and then they loved it, apparently. So ever since then, I decided that, this is where I belong. The esports is super exciting, that the community is really welcoming. So I continue to put out videos, continue to do well. I've worked with the LPL. I've worked with LoL Esports. I put out the first Worlds video this year, announcing that it would take place in China, even though it didn't, but that's a whole another topic. But it's been really cool, and thank you so much for having me on. I mean, this is really awesome. I don't get to talk about esports or league-related stuff, just casually like this ever, so really cool to be able to do that here.
Glad to have you on board, man. And as always, we have Paul, the TSM fanboy, the ever optimist, he is now what I was in 2017, literally praying that Optic would get into the league in some capacity. He is now back to that state. But
no, we have Chovy.
Yeah. To address this up front so we don't have to talk about it throughout the podcast, as I'm sure many of you that follow League of Legends know by now, there has been I'm not sure if your camera is doing like a weird green screen flicker.
Yeah, I don't know why it's glitching like that. Let me cut it off for a second. You can keep going.
Gotcha. Doublelift and Reggie have had some drama that has dominated League of Legends headlines. We are not going to talk about most of the drama there, including like the, Doublelift's claims of harassment from Reggie or anything like that. I don't want to get into the weeds on that. That's more for like a one-off TikTok video to watch it. This whole conversation is going to be more around the LCS quote-unquote dying, things that we can do to fix it, content around the LCS, and much more. So I'm just throwing that disclaimer out there. Anybody that's looking for, 30 minutes of just bickering and debating on Doublelift, this is not the right podcast for you. Sorry. But if anybody has any thoughts, go ahead and throw them out there. I don't want to limit it, but I just want to make sure.
No, I don't. I have one thing.
No, it's all right. It is a rough situation, and I'm gonna touch it from afar, though. I'm gonna leave it at a distance.
I have the better TSM ADCs right here.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the slander. So, one of the areas that you specifically made a video on just a week ago now was how LCS content has pretty much been lacking, faltering, slipping, however anybody wants to word it. It's just been non-existent for the most part, barring, the dive is still consistently being put out. We have shows now for opening LCS, including masterminds, replay files, lane by lane, and next level. What are your thoughts on LCS content as a whole at the moment, and how that has impacted the LCS?
I would say that LCS content as a whole, for starters, isn't bad. I didn't make that video to say that that it sucks or that it's doomed. I think that it's a little bit it's like misguided, if that's a good word for it. It's that like they have the talent to create amazing content and they have good ideas, but what we're getting isn't really what we need. And I go into it, more in the video and things like that. But one of the broad things I talked about is that I feel as if they're putting out too much content that's long form, which means that goes 30 minutes or above, and but other than that, we're not getting any quick little hype videos or little teases for the week and things like that, so that people can know what's going on. I remember when I first started watching the LCS, you couldn't open the league client without seeing it advertised in some way, shape, or form. So you would see Bjergsen's face, Doublelift's face, and then like, oh my god, these Titans are clashing or whatever. But now it seems that like that's a little bit not there. It happens once in a while, and for playoffs that was there, but throughout the season, you could probably go the entire season without knowing that this is going on because it's not being advertised in the right way. So that's one of the big things I want to say, but it's not bad. And if anybody else wants to touch on that, go ahead.
I liked some of the newer stuff with the podcasts. I thought that was fun. Like those ideas for content, they weren't too bad. Getting to know some players. The one that I didn't really understand was when they tried to do the Around the Horn show. I just felt like maybe it wasn't for me, but it just didn't really seem like a esports type of show, I guess, as much as it could have been. But I mean, those were really the only things I felt like were big that LCS was doing. The hype videos this year, I mean, were what they usually are. I enjoyed most of them, the scenic shots, but it did feel like they weren't really pumping some of the story arcs they could have tried to pump as much. Definitely didn't feel like Danny was getting pushed as hard as he could, or maybe Abadage, but I don't know what you can do when it's like you said, with all the new players coming in and a lot of the veterans being gone. It just seems really hard.
I guess I'm probably in the I know I'm in the minority on this. Lane by Lane is by far my favorite show that's in League of Legends right now. But I do think it's misplaced being right before LCS. That is a type of show that I will throw on in the background while I'm eating dinner, while I'm doing something casually. It is a phenomenal weeknight show. That's why Around the Horn does so well when it's replayed during like that 5 to 7 o'clock hour in the East Coast. Like it's just the perfect show. You see it come on when you're in college or you're with family or anything like that. It brings up a debate and discussion point that might be completely irrelevant, but it's a great way to stoke conversation. It does not build hype for the matches that are coming immediately after it, though. Like, there's very few questions that you can ask that would do a proper job in handling that. To touch on your point on the shorter segments, I think if you look at the examples that we have in regular sports and entertainment, specifically looking at College Game Day, that is a 2 to 3, is it 3-hour show, I think, on ESPN?
Yeah,
but
it goes for a while.
Yeah, but it is sliced into so many different segments throughout that 3 hours that you can come in as a viewer and start at any point, and you're not going to have to wait 15, 20 minutes to know what's going on or feel like you missed out on information. You'll wait about 2 minutes until the next segment begins, and then you'll be fully caught up on what's about to happen for the next 5 or 6. And I think that's a methodology that's lacking to a certain extent in the pregame show. That it's like the LEC is pretty much using the same formula that they've been using for years, but it goes along that same trajectory, which works really, really well.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy that you do bring up things like lane by lane and shows like this or that, which I missed. I do need to talk about that for a second. I think those shows have its place, and like you said, it would be really great if they came out during the week, which I think some do. I think like this or that drops maybe a day before game day. So
Yeah,
like
I think
Thursday, we do
Thursdays.
that. And so that's not bad at all, and that has its place in content. But we do need a like a video that will drop like the LEC does, called like a match of the week video. That'll come out at some point during the week. Probably like a Wednesday might be a good time slot for it, where it's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen on Friday, or this is what's gonna happen Saturday, Sunday. This match, this is what you need to tune into. This is what you need to watch, and it just feels like we're not getting that until it's already playoffs time. And of course, people are going to watch playoffs because it's playoffs. So, putting out hype content for playoffs is great, but you want regular season viewers, right? And I'm sure those sponsors also want regular season viewers. So I think that's some of the things that they need. And I do love the pre-show segments as well. There's a lot of things that can be changed there. And I know people have all sorts of opinions on the analyst desk or the talent itself and things like that. And I'm not even going to go into that, but I do think that that is something that traditional sports does really well, as you mentioned, with those super long segments. But I do think that esports, and especially League of Legends as a game, you can definitely condense that, have it go on for, I think the LCS, they do like 45 minutes almost before games, or it goes on for a while. But I also think that like if the games are supposed to start at 3 p.m. or something like that, it should start at 3 p.m. and not the pre-show start at 3 p.m. or else it doesn't become a pre-show. It's just part of the whole show itself, and people are tuning in and like, why are we 30 minutes into the stream and the games haven't started yet? So I think that's its own thing, because even when you are watching like an NFL pregame show on TV, they'll call it the pregame show, right? But for some reason, it feels like the LCS is like part of the entire broadcast, and I think there's just some issues there, and people get confused and they get upset.
It was interesting. A lot of the analysts, I think it was Emily Rand specifically, that would call out COVID as a cause for delays with that. That I get that point for like the second, third, and fourth game, and like any time that you need to stall between them. But like the first game not starting exactly at the time that it's supposed to start, like that's not COVID. You have what, 19 hours prior to that to set up. Like
Right.
That's not. There's no excuse. Like when you tune into Sunday football and you are told that you're playing at 1:00, the first kick is happening at 1:00. They have a schedule to go to. There's TV and commercial rights that have to run consistently. Like there's a lot of obligations that's like they are running at a very specific time, and that will not change.
Yep, and also hurts a lot of like when you're missing that, it can hurt some of the people's stories, because I think it ruins their hype for the game when they're showing up and waiting around and listening to people talk about. Especially, I feel like a problem in LCS I noticed was they'll be talking about a game that's later on in the day, like while you're expecting to be watching another game. So then you're sitting there listening to them chat about some random game that's happening at the end of the day when you're tuning in to watch like TSM versus TL, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll just listen to C9 versus EG, I guess, and see what happens.
And I feel like that's a
Right.
byproduct of them putting those shows beforehand. That they're just trying to cram that little bit of information in there so people have it, and it just feels inorganic to an extent. Like if you had that 30 minutes to do like an actual pre-show with proper laid out segments, you'd be able to touch on those for like a quick 5-minute segment, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it again until the pre-show for that game, or like the pre-game analyst or desk segment prior to that game actually starting.
Yeah, no, and I agree that it does hurt, some of the narratives too, because like you don't want to be talking about the last game of the day before the first game starts. I think the best way it should be done is that if C9 and EG are playing first, you should talk about C9 and EG and only C9 and EG, unless there's some huge roster move that happened that of course you won't be able to talk about at lengths, before the actual match where those parties will be involved. Like I understand that, but yeah, I do think that like some of the things that go on before the show are just like not what we need to be seeing, yeah, and I don't think it's a talent issue at all. Too, before anyone says that, I don't like Crumbs, I don't like Emily Rand. Like, I don't think it's a talent issue. I do think it's just like like you said, like if in football, if the game's gonna start at 1, it's gonna start at 1. So the LCS, if the game's starting at 3:30, it's gonna start at 3:30. The stream should not start at 3:30. That's really it.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys know, with the exception of, so Dash did like a really quick skit based on like a TikTok trend that happened in summer. Other than that, do you know the last time that the LCS did like a quick skit? Like a pre-shot skit during the week that aired during either pregame or as like promo or anything else like that. Do you remember the last one?
No.
I honestly forgot.
I'll give you
Yeah,
the
it's
person and see if you can even guess it. It was Jat.
It was.
Oh, was it? Well, Jat Stats isn't a pregame skit,
No.
is it? No, it's just it's like part of his own thing.
Therapist
well,
Jat.
If it was Jat, that's way too long ago because Jat hasn't
Yeah.
lasted in a year or two. So
It was the
that's
TSM therapist Jat skit, where it was him talking to himself as a TSM fan and embracing the TSM chat meme. And it was just like a 2-minute conversation skit where it's just like him wrestling with the issues of being like a TSM fan and then like the realism of the analyst side of it and just like wrestling with them. And it was hilarious. And that sticks with you for a long time. In the same way that like Reckless with My Heart and some of the things that LEC does, like those will permanently be with you once you've seen them. We just don't get them anymore.
Yeah, that's true. And like people always talk about like Flexius, from Europe, because that's Vedius and all his different personas and things like that. Or people will talk about the this might not necessarily be a skit, but the content of how the LEC will have their songs that they do, the tracks that they put out and things like that. So I totally agree that like not having that in the LCS means that certain people aren't going to be able to relate to the talent that's on the air, because if you're not like laughing with them or smiling or joking with them and they're just sitting there laying their analyst points down, taking forever and things like that, people aren't gonna, they're not gonna stay engaged. Honestly, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Is that like I don't want to sit down for 10 minutes and just watch them analyze the game for this long or anything like that. Like I want to be laughing like, oh, this is something good, this is something interesting. And we don't need it every week, but we do need it once in a while. So the fact that Jat was in the last one is just inexcusable.
The last thing I remember that really made me laugh during the LCS broadcast was that Mark Z doing that be woo woo during the Silver Scrapes.
Oh,
of the
that was
finals.
2017 in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just feel like that was one of the last things that really made me like remember the broadcast, I guess.
So the bet that was lost between the LCS and LEC podcast, the NA free car, the Carporium thing, where they have Kobe going around like it's free.
Yeah.
Like that one sticks with me as well. So like
that one
there
was
are
funny.
times where like they are genius and have those things that will stick with you, but it's just like it feels, I don't know if there's a lack of creative direction, which I doubt. There's so much talent involved with the LCS right now. Like we have more people now than we've ever had before. I don't know if that's like a show director or lack of freedom given to these guys to like really push ideas and actually just like throw anything out there and see if it sticks. Because like what's the worst you do? You try one thing, it doesn't work, people say it's cringe, and then you try the next. Eventually one will stick. It's like SNL. They go through dry skits all the time. But then you'll hit like that 3 or 4 year stretch where you get the right cast and the right ideas going. And you just pump out classic after classic over and over again. You just have to, you can't stop trying just because some people don't like it or find it cringe.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And oh wait, I almost forgot what my point is. I think that they do need to keep trying, keep doing, keep innovating. And it's not, like you said, it's not that they don't have the talent behind the scenes to do it. I think what somebody mentioned whenever I made that video or made my Twitter post is that halfway through the year they switched creative directors and they just hired a new one or something like that, or somebody stepped down. So I get it when things are rough behind the scenes and there's no leader to, bring all this together or push forward new ideas. But at the same time, it's not really the best excuse, because like, how hard is it to be like, all right, guys, look what the LAC just did last week. They put out a skit, and people are loving it, people are laughing. Where's our own? And then like, is that not happening behind the scenes? Or people just being like, nah, like let's just let's keep editing what we're already doing. Let's keep doing this or that. Let's keep doing next level. Let's not even worry about changing up the formula, because we have these skits from years ago that did well, but we don't feel like doing that now, or we don't have the same ideas. Like, I am a bit confused on why certain things aren't happening.
How much does the viewership numbers go into it? Like, do they truly care about pumping out the like, will they cancel certain teasers if they think they're not getting enough views? Or will production companies like that typically still stick it out if they know it still builds up hype for even a small amount? I guess it would be like, is viewership the end goal of most of this stuff? Or are they more trying to build like careers of players, or I guess storylines down the road? Or are they just going for the pop at the moment?
It might not necessarily be viewership. Like, it might not be focused on viewership, but I do think engagement is the main focus. So like,
Okay.
Yeah, like you could put out a piece and then it gets like 1,000 views, which I mean, well, it's just like, let's say 10,000. LCS, it gets like 10,000 views, but if there aren't many comments on it or likes, or if it's not being shared on Reddit, then like you'll know how it's doing. Whereas you can put out a video with 5,000 views, but if people are talking about it, people are talking about how great it is, like, yeah, there may not be that many eyes on it, but if people are saying this is great, we want more of this, or if people on Reddit are saying this is great, it's getting shared a lot. So yeah, it's more about engagement and retaining fans, or having fans share it with their friends, as opposed to straight viewers. But viewership definitely plays a role. I mean, we know that. We love the numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the numbers. All content creators love the numbers.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I sit there and look at my analytics all the time.
Don't we all? Yeah. Don't even worry about it. We all do it.
I was just wondering, because I guess I just remember like the one thing I always hear is, how do we get back to the days where a regular season LCS game had that CLG TSM pop of like 500K again? But I just don't see how you get there without. It seems like that was such an organic thing that happened in the moment, because like esports was such a young thing and there weren't a ton of teams to cheer for. So at the time, that was like where everybody was a fan of, was one of those two teams, really, outside of maybe Cursed back then. And I'm just not sure how they can manage to transfer that back into getting that kind of raw viewer number. I don't know if it's like cutting all the streams down to just one platform and trying to combine them all. But I feel like you can't do that, because that would ruin a lot of people's chance to watch.
I will throw my opinion out there as always. Flame me if you will. Co-streaming should not exist in the LCS. Not right now. Not right now.
I like co-streaming.
I like co-streaming as a concept. We are currently at the state of the LCS where co-streaming does nothing but hurt it. Because the only perception that you're getting from co-streams is a direct comparison to the LEC, LPL, and LCK, in which people then just flame the players, flame literally anything that has to do with it, and then people get pissed off at the broadcast in return, because it's seen as they're painting this rosy picture. It's like, no, they're just trying to promote players, but you actively want us to shit on them because they're not Gumayushi. So what are we supposed to do about that? So for now, at least in my opinion, I'd cut co-streaming entirely for the LCS. Bring it back to one broadcast, start building up the storylines again, start building up the players, because we can't. When you're splitting the narrative between the LCS broadcast, Dom, LS, and Doublelift, there's like 9 times out of 10, the storyline, as Mark Z pointed out on Hotline League, gravitates towards the co-streamers, because their opinions are way more clippable, way more shareable, and they circulate a little bit better. So when they control it, there's nothing Riot can do to promote, say Immortal's youngest player. If LS doesn't like him, then that's going to be the predominant opinion.
Yeah, my thing with co-streaming, and I do agree with some of your points there. Is just that like I think straight up it hurts the LCS because some people I wouldn't say aren't smart enough. It's a bit rude, but like sometimes like you'll get on Twitch and then you'll see the LCS stream and it'll have like 50K viewers, and then that like but like Doublelift stream might have like 20K, or Sneakies may have 4K, blah blah. But some people don't add all that up together and realize that like that it may be 100,000 views altogether and things like that. So they'll just see the LCS and be like, oh look, 50K views on this game, because obviously nobody wants to watch it. Why should I bother if nobody else really wants to watch it? And that'll hurt it in that sense. And then also, yeah, the fact that like Dom, might sit there and just flame the LCS, or that Doublelift might sit there and just flame the LCS, and that and that all these people, once the game's over, they take their opinions that they just heard from Doublelift and Sneaky and then put it into the Reddit, and then a player goes on Reddit and then reads that, oh look, the community thinks that I shit the bed this game, and it hurts, everybody overall.
In Doublelift's words, they should be removed from the LCS.
yeah, because Doublelift loves to go to extremes, so he'll just be like, yeah, this guy shouldn't have a job, or this guy's so shit, and things like that. And yeah, it definitely does hurt the LCS in a way. I'm not sure if I would say that co-streaming shouldn't exist, because a lot of people claim that they wouldn't be watching the LCS if they couldn't watch it with Meteos, Doublelift, and Sneaky. I don't know if that's for real, because I think if you're really a fan of the LCS, that you'll keep watching. But
I don't buy that.
That's what they're saying.
I don't buy that at all. That's the same type of people like myself until this year who said, "Oh, I'm not going to buy Call of Duty," and we buy the next Call of Duty every single year. Like, you can say that you're not going to, but at the end of the day, when C9 and TSM end up playing, just because Doublelift and LS aren't streaming, they're going to tune into the broadcast. They might not admit it. They're going to say now that they're not in the moment. And yeah, you might lose 25% of that. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But I feel like that base that you're going to retain after you lose some of that dead weight is healthy, because that's going to be the base that you can rely on and build upon going forward.
Right, and I did want to circle back to what Paul mentioned earlier about how do we get back to 500K viewers, on a stream or on any given game. I will say that I think that screenshot that gets shared a lot was from like one singular game where like I think TSM and CLG were both like #1, and like this was for like who gets a playoff bye or something like that. So like it won't always be 500K, but I do think there is room for it to get back to like 300K consistently. And I think that is one international performance. I hate to mention it, but we do need to do better internationally. People want to watch LCS and think this is a team that can make semifinals at Worlds, not just make it out of groups 2-4 and then get 3-0'd. This team can make it to semifinals. People want to think that, and then people also people also want narratives behind these games, because like TSM COG, that was a huge rivalry back in the day for an assortment of reasons, not just because they kept beating each other. People want to be like, okay, this player has this history with this team, so I want to see if they can topple it, or oh, these two owners made a bet that whoever wins has to shave the other's hair or whatever. Like people want these narratives like behind the games, or else you're just watching people play, and then whoever wins, like, it doesn't really matter, because all that really matters is who makes it to playoffs, right? So like and so there needs to be other things behind the game that make it something that you want to watch, or else like I've done this many times where I'll just on the way to school the next day, I'll just pull up Onivia League of Legends highlights channel and just watch the highlights, and that doesn't feed into viewership ever. So it's just there needs to be something behind the scenes.
So I have a question for both of you then on that specific point. I agree with 98% of what you said, barring one thing.
Go ahead.
Is it realistic for us to have that expectation that we should have a team going to semifinals? Or would it be more realistic and more honest to try and adjust the philosophy of, okay, if we make it to quarters, that is our goal. That should be our stated goal given where we're at. Or are we endlessly going to be stuck in this goal of, okay, we should make semifinals. That's what Reggie promised us years ago. That's what we deserve.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to say is that like I remember let's say kind of a couple of years ago. I haven't really heard this since, but maybe like 2018, 2017 era. Every single time that the season would start, the owners would be like, "Guys, our goal is to win worlds." Every single time is to win worlds, and I was like, "Man, that is just bullshit." Like, like how are you gonna say that like before spring split even starts that a North American team's goal is to win worlds? Like, we need to be more realistic. You can't say our goal is to win worlds. Our goal should just be to make a good performance at worlds, and no matter what that means, whether it means semifinals, quarterfinals, or finals, or whatever, that's up to interpretation. But going into it saying we need to win worlds isn't working. But ever since they stopped saying that, we haven't really done that well at worlds. So maybe something about them saying that the goal is to win worlds is it was working, because I think the same year that I think Jack said that is also the year that Cloud9 made semifinals. Maybe that's working. But jokes aside, I do think that our goal shouldn't be just quarterfinals. We shouldn't be happy with the quarterfinals appearance or exit. But but I also find it weird to say that we should focus on making it to semifinals, because in a sense it means that once we make it to semifinals, they might take a breath of fresh air. I always felt like in 2018, whenever Cloud9 did make it to semifinals, that they made it there versus Fnatic, and that we as a region we all collectively were like, phew, and then they got 3-0 wiped off the face of the planet. So it's maybe we should just be give the best performance you could possibly give at Worlds. Don't let there be so much pressure stacked against you. But also, let's not go into this event thinking that we're the underdogs. Let's not go into this event thinking that, the best we can do is an upset every once in a while, or a 2-4 team make it to quarterfinals. I think our team should just be our goal is to go in and make North America proud. But again, I think pressure really messes with North American teams. I think that's another huge issue. It's just pressure.
I see why you're a storyteller.
Sure.
I can see it right there.
I try.
What about you, Paul?
Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like he answered it honestly as best as you can. I don't know how else to say it, because it's true. You have to. I've been saying it from the start that you have to win to get numbers, and Dave always hates how I'll say that, because I'll be like, I'll just import everybody just to win to get the numbers. But yeah, one thing I was wondering is, because you were mentioning how when we win, we can get those numbers, or we're trying to get those numbers after that. So how do a lot of content teams, or what is the goal of a content team, I guess, with a newer player or somebody that they're trying to drive up? How do they go about that? Is it with just interviews, trying to get them to stream more, more tweets? What is usually the best system to try to get a guy's story out there? Maybe it's asking LCS to cut a promo for him, not a huge promo, but just maybe push him into the promo world, try to get him in more interviews.
As far as so you basically are asking how do we create narratives around players that make people relate to them, get them excited about them?
Yeah, I would say a Speaka and a Danny would be the type I'd use as an example. Two players that are kind of younger, and their fan bases. I mean, Speaka's I guess pretty huge, but they're
a JoJo Pune coming into the show if he starts,
pushing them forward.
Yeah, I would say that first, that every org should sit down the player and tell them, all right, guys, this is how important branding is. Because one of the issues with LCS orgs is that whenever the LCS has their media day, where they're asking for players to come on air, create narratives around them, is that some players request to not go, because they don't really get the purpose behind branding and how these narratives do form, and how the community will relate to you. So players need to understand that, and then also they need to take that into their own hands. And yeah, they do need to stream. I think streaming will help. If you're funny, if you're entertaining, streams are huge, because I think Sneaky would stream after LCS games, get 10K viewers. That was insane at the time. I didn't realize how insane it was, but now I noticed wow, that was big, because some of these other players will stream every once in a while and they'll get 400 views because no one knows they're streaming or they haven't established themselves. But I do think that the orgs can only do so much, and that like Riot does need to create pieces that they can air on the broadcast, like Drive, like duos. I talked about that in my video. I think Drive was such an amazing show because you'd go behind the scenes and get to know a player. You would, they take you into their house. Like I think there was an episode of Drive with Matt where it could be totally wrong, but I think he's like from Hawaii. So it's just cool to see an LCS team go out to Hawaii. They would, follow him around and he'd talk about kind of his upbringing, how much he loves games. Then you saw him eating dinner with his family, stuff like that. And I was just like, man, like Matt seems like such a nice guy. This is a player that, I personally was flaming on Reddit like, 5 minutes ago, but now I kind of like him. Now I want to see him succeed. Like, like now I feel like the sort of connection with him. So I think stuff like that just always really.
I remember they did that. There were 2 examples of that where it really backfired, and I love the pieces. To be very clear, the timing of it was shit. There was the Golden Glue one, because I believe he got benched the week that they were gonna air it, and then I think there was the Mike Young one, where they spent 30 minutes introducing him as TSM's jungler, and it was what? This was 2018, right when they started franchising, and they took that risk, and then they benched him like literally a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and it was like, oh, you invested all that time into that just for him to not play. That sucks.
All right. Yeah, that's true. That could be part of the reason why we don't do them as often anymore, because they're like, all right, last 2 times we did it, like you see what happened. So
but you can't, as we said, that you can't stop. Like just because you have 2 times where it misses, sure, there's gonna be that one time where, say you do it with Jojo Pune, and then he becomes the superstar NA mid laner, and you're gonna look back 5 years from now and be like, oh shit, I remember that kid. Like I was there when he literally graduated just out of high school. Like I remember that. And for every miss, that one hit is enough to build up a superstar.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to take these leaps, because I'd say a good example was Han Sama. There's a Drive story with Han Sama. I think it's like one of the only ones that was done for an EU player, but I'm gonna use it as an example anyways. This was, I think Han Sama's like first year. They put out a Drive episode, and I remember I watched that, and I was like, man, what a cool guy. Like, because it's just him in his room, showing off his art and things like that. And you're like, he's a real person behind the scenes. He's a real, stand-up guy, and like I want to see him succeed. And then now look at Han Sama, the best performing EU ADC, or probably Western ADC at Worlds this year. So many teams want him, and like, now they can go back, and now people can go back and watch these Drive episodes and be like, yeah, like I see it now. Like this is where it started, and this is why I feel connected to this player. And they need to take these risks. Like just do it anyways.
There was even I remember this series because I was a diehard Optic fan, and it was so cool to me to see Crown and Core JJ just going to a restaurant and talking to each other, because like there was the depression around Crown getting over the whole Malzahar thing at Worlds, but then you had Core JJ just being this buddy of lifting him up, talking to him, just like getting him to be more personable, despite both of them being on separate teams in North America. It was just like, it was one of those pieces where years later, now Core JJ is one of the faces of the LCS, and Crown is, unfortunately not here, but it sticks with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That made me a fan of Crown. I think I keep saying this, but I think like every episode of Drive that would come out, I would just become a fan of that player, because I thought every story was so cool. But yeah, like seeing Crown, which this was so insane to me at the time, because I was like a high schooler, and I thought that winning was just everything. So like seeing him sit down in front of the camera and be like, yeah, I won Worlds, but I was still unhappy, and I was like, what? So I would listen to the whole episode, watched everything, went back and watched the series, and was like, I get it now. Like, and now I wanted to see Crown succeed, and fortunately, I think he did find some happiness on Optic and things like that. But yeah, it's just these things work. That's what I'm really getting at. Like they work really well. So I need to see more of them. Pretty much.
I feel like they missed some opportunities, because lately they could have done a Drive episode. I mean, pick a player from 100 Thieves of the Young Three, and then you could also have done a Drive episode tactical. So that was something I kind of thought we missed out on. Because if you do another Drive where you can like basically make Core JJ look like the good guy again with Crown, but flip him out for tactical, it would have looked really cool to me, especially with pushing that narrative. But it just felt unfortunate when they quit doing any series like that, and
Yeah.
now it seems like it's all left up to teams to do it with like Legends, TL's series, and those, as good as they used to be, I feel like they have to do less in depthness now because, I mean, we saw what happened when CLG went that in depth with a Bud Light video that was sponsored.
Yep.
That was a toughie. Calling
mean-
it the chill zone.
We should count ourselves. And obviously, I'm biased saying this as a 100 Thieves fan. We should count ourselves lucky that 100 Thieves won the LCS split. Had that not happened, TL would not have pulled somebody like Lil Nas X in on a video to hype up the region prior to Worlds. That video is sitting at 634,000 views on 100 Thieves channel. I know it has close to 1 million, if not over 1 million views on TikTok on just part 1 of the video. Like that, the amount of exposure that brought and the content that 100 Thieves was willing to put into it, that I guarantee if TL won it, it just would have been another episode of Squad or whatever they call it. You know, if Cloud9 would have won it, it just would have been another thing and they would have had their voice cons, which great, but like it doesn't extend it beyond just the win. Like, it's great that 100 Thieves did that, but I really hope, like you said, the LCS does more on that as well. Like, this should be, winning LCS needs to be this massive achievement that we value just as much as getting to Worlds, because unfortunately right now we don't value them the same. We don't.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that's something that somebody brought up in the Twitter post that I made, is that, and I forgot to cover it, but he was so right when he said that there's this whole notion that Riot has unfortunately helped throughout the years, that like the goal is always Worlds and it's less winning a region, or it's just winning a region to get to Worlds. That like a team could win their whole region and the top comment on like the post-game match thread would just be like, can't wait to see how they do at Worlds. Like, it's, you know, like we don't even take a minute to just be like, yo, you won the whole thing. Like, how does that feel? It's just like, yeah, but Worlds though. Like, oh, because like people are still gonna be like, they're just gonna get rolled at Worlds. They're just gonna get rolled at MSI, and it really hurts because like 100 Thieves winning was so great. It was so awesome for the region, and like you said, like them pulling in Lil Nas X is insane, and that's what makes them the gold standard of like org League of Legends content. Like, because you know Riot can't do everything, so it's awesome when these orgs try their hardest to market it for them, or you know alongside them. And getting that video was like the coolest thing ever. Like I didn't believe it. Like I saw the photos of them together, but I was like, I don't really know like what the content's gonna be. Like maybe he just stopped by, they put on the jersey, took pictures, or whatever. But no, they put out a whole video, like super well produced, like just props, complete props.
Not gonna lie, it sent chills through my body watching that.
Oh yeah, me too. I was just like, man, if there's a single org that I would want to work with, like it's just 100 Thieves, like sign me up like instantly, like sell my soul, because they're awesome. They do so great.
That just hurt. That hurt Paul's feelings.
Oh, man. You guys are the content org. You're unbeatable at that.
I mean, to be fair, you guys just signed Cutie Cinderella, so it's not like you don't have good league content creators at this point.
Oh, okay. I want to run this by. We have a professional video producer man. This is our idea for the greatest co-stream of all time.
Oh boy.
The TSM 100 Thieves game should have been co-streamed with Myth Encouraged.
That would have been funny. That would have been really, that would have been good content. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yep.
There would have been so many great clips coming out of that.
Yeah, we've saved
sure.
LCS.
Right. Yeah. We can stop here because we found out the answer.
Yeah, 500,000 from Lil Nas X. We're talking at least 200 from Myth Encouraged. At least.
It would have been great. And I have spoken to some people on the TSM content team, because I have talked to them behind the scenes once in a while, and like they're really talented. They're really cool people, and they know what they're doing. They're like really professional. It's just that I think Legends, by the way, is really, really good. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I watch Legends
So
all
nice.
the time. Yeah, but I think that maybe there is just like a disconnect as far as like wanting to push further as far as like what they put out goes, because like Legends has been a staple for so long and it's already really good. So like they would never go get Lil Nas X, but 100 Thieves is like, no, we want to make this shit mainstream. Like we want people to discover League through our videos, whereas TSM is more like we want to make great content for the community already. And so that's just the difference. The 100 Thieves wants to push like the boundaries, whereas like a content org like TSM is more like, you know, like let's just continue to do amazing things within League. So yeah,
Interesting.
that's just the difference, honestly.
That's cool.
And I will say part of this as well, for TSM specifically, if you look at their social media data since 2018, since the franchise era began, they have tripled their following from an organization perspective on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and every other place. None of that was due to League of Legends. All of that was due to Fortnite. It was due to Valorant in the last year. It was due to Minecraft. It was due to other sources. If you're TSM from a top-down management perspective and you have a choice, you can invest $100,000 of additional resources into any one thing. Are you putting it into League of Legends, where you have an already existing series that pulls decent numbers, or do you put it into the growing part of your fan base in a different game? To me, as much as I love League of Legends, the decision's a no-brainer. I'm not putting in the league.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. That does make sense, and I think you're spot on, because that's what Reggie talks about in that Reddit post that he made, I think like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, like last night with the whole Doublelift drama, where he's kind of like, yeah, we have so many different other teams, and I think it's time to finally start spending money on those teams. Like, we're still going to be a top 3 spender in the LCS, but we want to focus on other teams as well. So I do see why sometimes it's more of a like, let's not go get Lil Nas X. Let's just let our content team do its thing, and then let's, you know, try to uplift our Rainbow Six team. And I understand that, and I think it's respectable. So yeah, definitely no flack towards TSM for just continuing to do what they do. But I do think we need more than one 100 Thieves, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
Because
So-
right now it looks like C9 is the only other one with the like social media presence that
Yeah.
I see all the time, at least on my Twitter feed or YouTube. But even then, what I don't like the most about most of them, I would say the top 3, like LCS, Big Orgs, TLC9, TSM, the old guard, they every video I see with their players and teams, it just seems like some sponsored video that's like a ask like 20 questions type thing, or ask the players, and that stuff just does not, I feel like, ever inspire me, and I don't ever see it hit hard. So I don't understand why it's so recycled. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Like, I think they're trying to hit some sort of quota, which I don't know what quota that is, or
Yeah.
what sponsor requires this type of video. But I do see that a lot, where it's just like random videos where like I'm not really watching it unless I am a diehard fan that is just, you know,
Yeah.
that really wants to see more content for my favorite org. Because yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, straight up.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
it could be so much better, because I do think there's room to, like you said, like uplift a player like Tactical. Like Team Liquid could totally put out a piece on Tactical, his backstory, and you might even, you know, start to find out reasons why he goes for these big plays. You know, like
Mhm.
as we saw at Worlds, or we see in the LCS, like maybe there's a reason behind that you could find out from watching his backstory that we're just not getting. But I will say, I think there was like one tactical video that came out. I think it was called
nice.
Tactical Maneuvers. The LCS put it out like last year during COVID.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't- I don't think it went that deep into his life or anything like that, but they tried, but they didn't really try, because it felt
Feel
more
you.
of a like, yeah, it felt more of a like, okay, pandemic's
Yeah.
happening. We can't go over to an org's house, so we'll just have them record, you know, an interview with him and then send it to us. But regardless, yeah, they could try so much harder. I don't really understand some of the content pieces that I see, and I wish I could just, you know, tell them like, guys, just do this. Like, just grab this player. He seems really interesting. Put him in front of a camera. Take this song. put it over some plays from him, and I promise you, it's gonna be a really great video. But sometimes it's just
Mhm.
like, no, we want to ask them like 21 questions. Isn't that fun, guys? I'm like, oh man, like it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
You know what annoys the ever living crap out of me? The
What?
fact that the Empire State Building, a building, has one of the most popular TikToks on the planet. And you're telling me that not a single LCS player, not any of the teams, not any of the LCS as a whole, you're telling me that we really can't come up with something that drives a decent following and some advertisement on that platform. The dude literally puts eyes and a mouth on the Empire State Building and just does like quick little skits that generate millions of views. And they're hilarious. It's just organic. They know the platform, they know the market, and it works well. There's no way you can't tell me that we can't hire one person for like the LCS and just have them do like skits roasting all their teams. Like equally roasting everybody, but just like go in on it and then still hype up the good plays and like be playful with it, but like give that social media presence almost a persona in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The,
Yeah, no, you're right. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was just thinking the one thing when you said overlay of like a cool montage, it reminded me. Do you ever remember Nice Try Ian's channel?
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, that guy, like those style montages or your style worlds montages, all those, like clump those in. That's so true. I never even thought about that side of life. Like if you would give me like a weekly highlight video of my team, like doing something, I feel like that could get so many views so quick. Like of just a player popping off or like maybe explaining a play, who knows, saying what was going on in his head. Like
Yeah.
that would be cool.
No,
But,
fun tidbit about Nice Try Ian is that his video called League of Legends is not just a game inspired my It's Just a Game video
Yeah.
That's
that I went on to
awesome.
make in 2019. So like he knows what he's doing. He inspired me. I put out that video, and I think combined our videos have like 3 million views. So it's like,
yup.
That
you know,
may be my favorite video that you've ever put out.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that
So
I mean
cool.
that whole year was a great year for Western League of Legends. So by all means there was like a lot of optimism that surrounded all of us during that time, but it just felt like it hit at the perfect moment where it was like transitioning to what was supposed to become like the best like next 10 years prior to COVID
Yeah.
hitting. But it's like that video and then the one that you put out post COVID or like for Worlds in 2020 was just like
Yeah,
you hit the messaging spot on those.
it was.
yeah, no, thank you. And it was so easily set up for me by the content that had come out that year. You know, like it wasn't like I'm some genius that was able to take this clip and craft this narrative. It was more like the year was already going so well, as you mentioned, in 2019 with G2 doing so great and it feeling like the LCS teams could also do great because Team Liquid
Team
met
Liquid
G2 in
yep.
MSI finals, so it's like, it felt like, things were going great. So all I had to do was capitalize on the existing hype. And I just put it out in December and from there, it started my career. But yeah, it's just like, I think 3-minute videos are just perfect bread and butter. Like just put out a 3-minute hype video and it's going to just do numbers. It's going to do well because people will spend 3 minutes to watch a hype video. They're not going to spend 20 minutes to watch Next Level. They're not going to spend 30 minutes to watch Masterminds, but they will watch your 3-minute hype video. So it's like, just do it. Just make a video like that. And I promise you that like it's going to garner hype and it's going to show in viewership. Because if I see something that really excites me, if I see Spica on camera trash talking tactical and saying that I'm the next era of LCS, that I'm going to be the next king, like I want to see that happen, but we're not getting that. Instead, we're getting lane by lane, next level of masterminds, this or that, and replay files, which I mentioned. Replay files is amazing, so I'm not going to trash that at all. But it's like they need to change things up.
For sure.
So, okay, going into 2022, this is arguably, at least in my view, and I've made this public several times, this is our biggest year for North America. Not most important because, there's no guarantee of what will happen in terms of end results and how that will impact the future. But Worlds being in North America for the first time since 2016 cannot go understated as to the economic and social influence that will have on the game in North America. Give me your three-word tagline for how you would direct the entire story of the year. I'll give you my example. My example would be raise the stakes. Every 3-minute video, every longer form content, it would all be built around the premises of elevating ourselves to match the importance of this year. Every individual moment in game, basically highlighting like the intensity within some of the games. If somebody's yelling or shit talking, like really kind of driving home how important it is. Like that would be my central theme for the year. What would be, if you guys had to pick one, if you had to come up with your own slogan, you're directing the show, what would it be?
I think mine would be, and I love raise the stakes. I think that's something that we need a lot. We need these games to matter. We need people to go into this thinking that this is like, I guess I'm gonna steal the tagline from Worlds this year, but like make or break. Like I think that this is, you need to make your moment here. I love that. I would say mine would be, as a storyteller, mine would be create their story. So just, find these players, find these gems because they exist. It's not like Meteos, Doublelift, Bjergsen were once in a lifetime characters you could craft narratives around. Like that's not the deal at all. I guarantee you there are players in the LCS that have a great story behind them that could be great on camera, that can be used for hype videos. I think you need to create their story. You need to sit down with them, and that it's going to show in viewership. It's going to show in social media presence, and it's going to show on Reddit like how excited people are to see what they can do. So create their story.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys didn't go with the current year's one, the make or break one, where they were just replaying it over and over and over again during group stages until they realized that they would turn it off the rest of the tournament. And then she go, make it yours, and then it would go woo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And then they were like, after like 3 days, I was like, they'll turn it off, they have to, and they did, and I was like, yep. I was like, that was tough.
Very good. Yeah.
That one killed me. I don't have a tagline, I'm sorry. You guys are too clever. I'm not clever enough to make a tagline.
I'm not clever. Don't say I'm clever. We got the storyteller. He's the clever one.
True, he's the clever one. He said create their story. That's like so smart. And then I'm sitting here thinking, what would my tagline be? Probably Speaka Chovy Huni. I don't know.
How about Chovy's not in the LCS yet at all? Yet Chovy's included in the LCS tagline. Like how does this work? But...
It's just, I mean, he's basically in at this point. I don't know how he's not. Yeah, I would say one cool thing I think you could do for Worlds this year, like I could just pick a random player because I actually know him and where he's from. Give me 10-minute video max, I guess, telling me of Speaka's history from him growing up in Philly. That would be dope.
Oh my god.
Like around the city of Philly. And then if you want to put a game in Pennsylvania, you can.
Dude, I'll plan that whole shit out for you. I know the state like the back of my hand. Let me do it. Here's the thing. Okay, we're gonna do it. We'll do it in summer in Happy Valley. Put it in Penn State Stadium. Give every student there free tickets and give them a free beer from Bud Light. I promise you, I'll fill out 110,000 people like that. I don't even care if they know. It doesn't matter whether they know League of Legends or not. You get like 1,000 people in there that know it. I guarantee you, we could sell out that entire stadium for no reason. Hell, partner with Thon. I don't know if you guys know what Thon is at all, but basically it's Penn State's. Basically it's a 24-hour dance-a-thon where basically people pledge money for you to go in, and however long you stay there and dance, that amount of money gets donated to I think Penn State Medical and goes towards children's cancer research and stuff like that. So partner with that and have spring finals in Happy Valley and just make it a freaking party, and then have like those pieces on Speaka from Philly. If there's anybody from Pittsburgh, have like the Pittsburgh side of it. I don't know anybody from the Central PA area that plays League, but you know.
What if he doesn't make it? Like,
It doesn't, but
It's
it
all
doesn't matter.
matter
You still
roster.
build up the storylines,
That's
and you're gonna
true.
have a party.
And you could have him just there, like on the analyst desk, like Doublelift used to be, or when they would put I don't know who else on the analyst desk at
Tyler won.
Bro,
NA finals. Yeah, true. Tyler won. It'd be pretty cool.
I thought as the TSM fan, you'd be confident that Speak would be playing in these finals.
He's a fake fan.
I can't believe you want him on the analyst desk. He should be on
Real.
stage.
When you watch him stink long enough, you get used to it.
I got you. Expectations are
Yeah,
dumb.
and the roster isn't fully Korean yet, so they can still be beaten down by their current CEO. Please don't hate me and beat me down too. And that is a possibility. So
No, yeah, it would be awesome if they did something, you know, in a city like that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like, free tickets, Bud Light, and then if you get like a performer to headline the event too, like, because I love that they know they love
Oh,
to do
true.
opening ceremonies. So get somebody cool, get somebody either up and coming that people know about, or something that's already big. I don't know, right? Spend your money.
Meek
But yeah,
Mill.
like you
Oh,
hey,
oh my god.
no, who knows?
I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Can you imagine?
Dude,
Oh,
I
that would
No,
be dope.
I would pay any money to go see League of Legends fans just sitting there in their seats while Meek Mill's on. Meanwhile,
Oh,
I'm
Meek
down
Mill
there on the
performing.
floor just fucking losing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be exciting. I guarantee it would work. Like people would come out there and then show the first episode of the next season of Arcane after. Boom, you're good. You have a great event.
Dang.
Show up you'd be perfect. But
It's actually true.
But who knows what they're gonna actually spend their money on? I
Yeah.
know that they're gonna go to
Yeah.
Houston for MSC
Yes.
season.
To
that
NRG
was-
Stadium.
Is
Yeah,
there a
so-
Texas player in the league that we can just kind of?
Golden Glue. The
Uh,
100 Thieves Academy coach. Duh.
Go to Glue be playing
good.
in finals for sure. Yeah, go to Glue
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah. Is there anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah. Let's just
No.
pretend that
Anyone at
somebody else
all?
is just lie to the fans. And
Dyrus
Big
lives
season
out there.
finals.
Yeah,
just-
Dyrus lives out there. Let's just do
Yeah.
a Dyrus promo. Chalk it up.
yeah.
Oh,
TV
you're-
kid?
You're the same guy advocating for the import rule to go away, yet, and then you're asking if there's any players from Texas. You understand the
Okay,
contradiction
well,
between the two,
right.
right?
Yeah, when I started thinking about cool players to do in locations, I was like, Fudge, FBI, no. Huhi, no.
No.
That's-
No.
I don't-
Hootie,
There,
no.
that's why in my mind it's like, okay, you have to create this overarching story because you can't rely on the players to get there. Look at the backlash of what happened when they put Reckless in the World Song. So it's like, don't rely on
Yeah.
the players, build out the league storyline. And like Penn, you have that event at like Happy Valley, like it doesn't matter who makes it. It's a party no matter what. Like it's a rager every time.
True.
Yeah. People are gonna get hyped, and again, like you don't even need to focus on any singular player. Like not every piece needs to be about a player. It could easily be about an org,
Point.
And like there are ones that are already established that Riot can use. Like I know they love to go back to TSM C9 rivalry. I know that Team Liquid C9 kind of have their own rivalry now, and TL TSM whatever. You can use that, but also build up a narrative between 100 Thieves and Golden Gardens or something. Like 100 Thieves stole all their players, so mess around with that. See what happens. You could there's
Yeah.
something fun there. You don't need to do anything too crazy, but just kind of hint at it or touch upon it. Like, look, this org took all your players. Like, was it the right choice? Or because I think like one of the coolest things that I remember is the 2016 Spring Finals where Silvxs replaced Doublelift and Doublelift from TSM, and then at the very end you hear Freak go, "You can change the players, but the fate remains." That was so fucking cool because it wasn't like rude to TSM or anything, but it was like, look, you can like we can replace your star ADC and we'll still
Yeah.
win. Like that's so
Yeah.
dope, So use something
Yep.
like that easily.
That I would love to see them build up the 100 Thieves Team Liquid storyline, especially like if the rosters on paper plan out like they will right now. The odds of us seeing that rivalry intensify, which it was already heated this past year between the two of them playing in both, winners finals and then finals again this past year, and then you had several series throughout lock-in and or no, they only played a single game in lock-in, and then in spring playoffs as well. Whereas like you had these close storylines. If you build upon that, it's like, okay, TL is upgraded, but 100 Thieves just like they never felt like they earned or deserved. Like nobody said that they deserved it. Nobody said that they earned it. But now, like this year, if you can take down the super team, quote unquote, now you're the powerhouse. Like fuck expectations, fuck what everybody else is saying. Like you are the shit. We're the ones. We're here to stay now. And there's that fight to earn it when people don't even think you deserved it in the first place.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like there's such a cool story behind there, where and I think to their credit, that Freak did try to push that a little bit in the finals, where he said that like they 3-0'd them 4 years ago, and now they 3-0 them today. Like really cool, but they could have done a little bit more with that. You know, they could have talked about it a bit more. Don't get it to levels where people complain. The LEC loves to do like Dynasty or
Old Kings, New Kings.
Yeah, Old Kings, New Kings. You don't need to force it too hard, but there is always a level there. There's a story behind every game, I believe. Like I believe if you try, you can make up a story behind every game. And if people want to see me try that this year, where every single match I will tweet out the story of this game, I will try and find a story. Like, I guarantee you there is. I guarantee you there is.
Yes.
That would actually be a cool
idea. That would be a cool idea for sure.
Yeah. We'll see. I might try it because I'm sure that like I could look at all 10 players in the game and be like, all right, there's this, use it, and we'll see what happens.
It is kind of tragic now that it's mentioned, and I think about it more, how most of the narratives do feel like they come from the casters, not actually from anything set that was a theme before going into the game. That is kind of tough when we keep mentioning that it's the casters bringing up this.
Which goes back to Riot having the narrative versus losing control of the narrative.
Yeah.
There you go. There's that. And
very tough.
This leaves this point entirely, but I do want to circle back to what you said about TikTok, David, because I know we didn't go too deep into that, but I do love TikTok as a platform. I do think that there's so much potential there. And I do remember you tweeting about how like you somehow have a bigger following than like a bunch of different LCS orgs, which like doesn't make sense because like these orgs should already have a fan base established that I guarantee you is in the age range that use TikTok. So what's going on there? Why is this a thing? That's like me having more subscribers than an LCS org. That shouldn't be a thing unless I'm overperforming and like working my ass off, which I'm not. I put out a video like once a month. But like, so like that's not, it shouldn't be a thing. So like, what's the deal there? And just hire somebody. Like anybody can edit on TikTok nowadays. So like, you don't need to have some like star, amazing editor. Just have one person that runs your TikTok account that can just take, like funny plays. Like I think an org could have a TikTok page with like, you guys know the YouTube channel. I think it's like Kushaway. Where he does like the Wood series, I think is what
Wood Division.
Wood Division Adventures. Yeah, like I think there could totally be something like that for TikTok with like an LCS org at the helm, where they just like post like funny plays, and then at the end you just show the team logo, and people are like, oh, like let me tune into this team because they always make me laugh. Let me see how they're doing, blah blah. This team's so likable and things like that. Like they could do it, but for some reason they're not. They're going to be super late to the party where like in 2025 they're going to start making TikTok content. I guarantee that's what's going to happen.
There are 2 organizations in the LCS that don't even have a TikTok account right now.
That's so embarrassing. Which 2 orgs are there? Put them on blast.
Let me pull it up real quick, just so I'm not misspeaking, because I don't want to slay anybody.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because I need to know who's failing us.
Nope, that's my personal finances. Whoops.
I do not have a TikTok either.
Yeah, so when I said that, I didn't intend, like, I wanted to get some sort of promo out on, like, my TikTok without, like, directly saying, go follow me on TikTok. And that was, like, my indirect way of calling out the teams that aren't doing it while also promoting myself. It definitely came off a little bit harsher than I intended to, but, so, Evil Geniuses and Golden Guardians.
Wow, EG.
I could not find their account unless it's like named like really weird and has like some really. I've searched every variation that I could not find it. So they
That's
either
wacky.
don't have one or it's so unfindable to the natural person that even me, who's very heavily involved in like the League of Legends ecosystem on TikTok, I can't find it.
Yeah, no,
But then
that's unacceptable.
CLG puts out like minimal effort videos. They have like one person running it, and it's just like a few like very plain memes, like nothing really organic. FlyQuest has 22K, which I will give FlyQuest credit, and they called me out on TikTok after I posted that. They post a lot of like League of Legends specific memes, which I think is good to a certain extent, but it does have a cap given how not few and far between, but like they're not as consistent with it. Immortals has 16.2, but I'm not going to flame Immortals all that much. One, because we're going to have the CEO on in 2 weeks, and two, because they're taking an interesting brand strategy going forward, so it's a little bit different.
Fair enough.
But even then, TSM has 1.6 million, 100 Thieves has 1.5 million. Very little of that is actually about League of Legends. Very, very little.
That's I don't understand. I mean, I think they're not. Yeah, with TSM, that's okay, and like the
Yeah.
other word, that's okay. Like League's not the only game out there. As much as we all here love League of Legends, like I get it, totally understand. But I do think that like there's so much potential with League of Legends content that you could do so much that the fact that they're not doing enough or not doing anything at all in some cases is just it's criminal. So
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that like I don't know because I think the only League of Legends TikTok I've seen and I'm not like deep on League of Legends TikTok because all my other social media feed is League of Legends, so I let my TikTok be free. But but one of the funniest like League of Legends TikToks I've seen was I think during the devious licks trend, which I'm not endorsing that trend, but Cloud9 did put out a TikTok where they did a devious lick on the LCS trophy, and I think that was hilarious. And there are probably some people who saw it who don't even know what the LCS is. That was like, wait, what did he just steal? And then they did some research, and then they found the LCS, and that's good. It's exposure. So things like that work for sure. They definitely work.
There is no excuse when somebody like me, who's a literal no-name that nobody knows about, nobody knows my backstory in League. I work a 9-to-5 job in finance, so it's not like I'm entertainment at all. Like, if I can post 2 videos a day and come up with enough content to just bullshit and talk my way through it and get that, there is zero excuse why people with actual talent can't do that. It's as simple as that. There's zero excuse.
No, I mean, absolutely. Like it should be doable. It should be doable. And my version of that is that like I'll spend like what a day on if I want to make like a 2-minute hype video, like I'll spend like a day on it. Well, I'll spend 2 days. First day will be gathering footage, and the second day will be editing. So like that's 2 days I spend on a hype video, and then I'll put it out. And these aren't like my super long ones, like my Worlds video this year. It's more like if I think let's use a European eulogy as an example. That's a 2-minute hype video I have on my channel. Shout out to my channel. But
YouTube.com/Silvxs for those wondering.
Right. No, but that's a video I have on my channel. I spent, probably 2 days on that, and that's not 48 hours, but it's broke up between 2 days. Put that on my channel, and it did decent. So I don't see why another org couldn't do something like that. Like where they'll just be like, okay, this is the play we're gonna focus on this week, or this is the play we're gonna focus on this week. Because I think there's like, for example, I'll use that season where FlyQuest for some reason kept pulling off these insane backdoors. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that happened like twice in the season, which it's weird because it shouldn't be happening that much, but they pulled off insane backdoors. It would have been great if I went to FlyQuest's channel and they had like a piece on how they pulled off that backdoor, right? So like teams should be able to figure this stuff out, and so it doesn't make sense that it's just not happening, or it is happening, but not everyone's doing it. Everyone should be doing it. Content.
Yes.
Then there's My Dirty Mind. You'll post like, okay, so they post like 2 serious videos about like the backdoors and all that. And then there's niche content for anything on TikTok. You go to one of the backdoor sections and do like a fake out of like, oh, we're gonna talk about that. Nope, this is like FlyQuest backdoor. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about FlyQuest, and just like
We're
make a
talking about
meme and
FlyQuest.
make a joke out of it.
Yeah, that would work.
It would.
Yeah, it would definitely work. Even if you're only catering to the league scene too, because I guarantee there are a lot of players, or well, I think it's a fact that there's a lot of players that aren't really into the pro scene or the rank scene either. Or there's probably, I think it's like I'm not gonna throw out a number because I'm just gonna mess it up, but let's just say there's like 5 players, but only one of those players will play ranked. It's like, so there's room there to grow that. So you can cater to those players. You don't even have to make it mainstream just yet, because there's room to grow within the own scene, within your own scene. So I agree. Use TikTok, man. Use TikTok for sure.
Even then, like look at NFL football. You think the majority of people that watch NFL football play it? No. Like that.
No.
My 6'4", 165-pound ass is not touching a football field anytime soon. But yet I'm still gonna watch the Steelers and the Vikings play every Sunday. Like we are getting to that point where like we need to push this narrative that it is okay to watch and not play. And like Riot is not going to push that, because obviously they need to promote the game itself. It's counterintuitive for them to do that. That has to come more from like the teams and everybody else. But it's like it is okay to not play and watch. To go, hopefully we get to this point one day, and to address somebody in the comments who was talking about, going to more local areas. I want to be able to go out in New York City on a Monday night or a Friday night and watch League of Legends at a bar. I want to be able to do that, but I can't right now because it just doesn't exist. There's not enough demand for it. So do you build out the local group? Like, you got to do something to get that going.
Yeah. And that's only possible if I think there was a brief or ongoing Buffalo Wild Wings sponsorship where they would show LOL games on Sundays, but like that's still like it's not enough. I mean, especially when it only lasts for like a split too. It's like sure, great, but you want to be able to go to like any bar, because bars have like 7 TVs anyway, so one could be showing League of Legends. Like shoot, like why not?
Fun fact that Buffalo Wild Wings thing is the only reason why I have this.
Yeah,
because
that one is dope.
Because I went to it, was the only one there. And Buffalo Wild Wings didn't even know about it, so I made a TikTok about it. Basically, I was like, okay, what's going on here? The LCS reached out and basically apologized and like said, we're gonna try and work with it more. And I didn't flame anybody. That's I'm not mad. I just want this to succeed. And they sent this and then the Poro plushie.
Oh my god, dude! I want that Ash figure because
it is amazing. It is one of my favorite things that I've ever owned. Even though my wife came back, she saw it. She's like, "Why do you have a girl in a short skirt on your desk?" I was like, "Let me explain."
Like, yeah, don't even need to explain. It's Ash. Like, come on, it's worth it.
She does not know League of Legends. That is not a sufficient answer. I can promise you that.
All right, fair enough. No, man, that's so cool. Because I recently went to Target. And there's like a League of Legends X Target collab or something like that out right now. And I bought every single League of Legends figure that Target had. And they're all right back there.
That's awesome.
At the very top is Goku.
Yep.
And then there's Thresh. And then there's Jinx. And then there's Zed. And Darius is somewhere in the room. But either way, I want Ash. I want to see if I can...
That makes me wonder now, because isn't the Jinx statue like that? Isn't that only available if you attend live events?
I don't know.
Because it was available. So me and Paul both went to 2019's LCS Finals in Detroit. That was the statue that was there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This one?
Like the foot tall. Is that the 1 foot tall one?
No, this one's pretty short.
No, it's a different one.
Yeah, there's
yeah. His Thresh is huge.
Yeah, Thresh is a monster. He's as big as Ash, probably.
Yeah, so they all have a similar like base plate to that. Yeah, that style of one. They're called the unlock statues. It's a specific series of that, and the Jinx one is available on the Riot website for $75. Okay, so I was wrong on that. That makes me sad.
Wait, is the Ash one available?
No, it is not.
Oh my god, dude! You don't
Sorry.
understand. Seeing that now, that's all I'm gonna be able to think about for the next couple hours. That was so nice.
The Echo, Jinx, and Caitlyn ones are all available on the website right now.
Wait, there's an Echo, bro.
Yes.
You
So-
you know Echo is my like mascot of my
Yep.
channel.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't have that is really embarrassing. So I hope none of my subscribers are watching this because I need to pick it up.
So wait, the real question then: do you have any of the Echo Louis Vuitton merch?
No, I don't have any of the Echo Louis Vuitton merch, unfortunately, because I think it was like pretty expensive. Okay,
It was
Yeah.
$900 minimum for any piece from the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I know
That's
I worked
a
with
little
Riot,
tough.
but I still don't have that money to just drop $500. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh yeah, the Echo one is here.
It was
Okay,
cool
yeah.
as shit though to see. I was on Instagram one day and I saw Selena Gomez wearing the Kiana shirt, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, why is she
Really?
wearing this? Cool, great, amazing." I don't think many people understand that reference, but I was like, "That is cool as shit."
That's so cool. Man, now you're gonna have me looking up the Louis Vuitton stuff. I do have the I don't know if you guys know the Japanese store Uniqlo.
Yep.
I do have the Echo shirt from. that
You don't
they
know
put out
Uniqlo,
there.
Paul?
Oh, Uniqlo's great.
Come
Sorry.
to New York City. We'll change that. We'll change your entire understanding of fashion.
Yes, please. But,
You're gonna need to up your fashion though. If I can convince Riot to do what I want them to do for Worlds this upcoming year, you're gonna need
Oh,
to
my
really.
goodness.
Have I? Okay, I don't think I've said it publicly on the podcast, but what I want more than anything, for those that don't remember, back in 2016 and 2017, or no, sorry, 2015, 2016, Riot did a series where they brought in a live orchestra to do an hour-and-a-half long full concert of League of Legends music. Shox would introduce it, and they had like the Jin orchestral theme, like everything was there, and they'd always end it with the World's theme and the World's song as well. I want them for North America this next year to do that again, but at the New York City Met Opera. There's so
Yeah.
many more songs that have come out since 2016, and so many champion themes, so many other things that having a live concert like that to celebrate Worlds back in person, to celebrate League of Legends as a whole, and maybe arcane themes and stuff like that. Like, there's a potential for that, and make it a red carpet event. Like, everybody comes, the big names are there. I will pay anybody in Riot a excessive amount of money to make sure that I go to that. But
Oh yes.
That would be
I will say that
amazing.
right now. I would. Speaking of premieres, the Arcane premiere was the coolest thing I've seen in so long. I would have, if I was in LA, I guarantee I would have hopped the fence to try to get in. I would have gotten arrested, but it would have been worth it because that looked so awesome. But yeah, no, I agree. I love that because I do go back sometimes and listen to that whole the world of League of Legends music that that Shox introduced, and I think it was 2016. That was
Yeah.
2016 or 2017. Yeah, it was 2016. So if they did that again, that'd be awesome because there's even more great music now, and and there's gonna be some great music from Arcane too. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm just repeating what you said, but it'd be awesome. I would fly out to New York and be there for sure. Like that would.
You're
be the
more than
coolest
welcome to stay at my place by
Oh,
all means.
perfect.
Like everybody that comes out, just hit me up. I've only got a one bedroom in New York City, so you can imagine how big it is. But yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
We got air mattresses,
Yeah.
we got couches. It'll all pan out one way or another.
No problem. Then in that case, I will also try to convince Riot then, and maybe our two minds together can get them to do it.
I'm 100% down.
Yeah.
And then we'll drag Paul along for it, even if TSM doesn't make the Worlds. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Oh
That's
my.
We'll cheer him up in some way, shape, or form.
yeah.
They'll
I do
be
think-
there
I hope they make it.
because of
You know,
Chovy.
TSM. Not okay. We're gonna pass that. We're gonna go past that. I think TSM at Worlds is always good for viewership because one,
Yeah.
they're the biggest org in North America, and two, like, well, actually no, it's just one. Yeah, they're the biggest org in North America, so that'll always help out. And like I think there's probably a decent chunk of like non-League of Legends players that like just know the TSM chant just off of it being memed so much. So like
Yes.
that, yeah. So that's always very good.
Dave needs to
and,
hear
um,
that.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair, I
TSM
did
chants were-
when we were at 2019 finals. The TSM chants did happen, so
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was to a much smaller extent, but they
Perfect.
still
That
happened
was-
despite it being TL Cloud9.
There are a lot of TSM jerseys there.
It was. We went. So
Yeah.
we. But prior to the finals, we met up at a bar and ate there for like an hour beforehand. And you had a
Yeah.
lot of Cloud9 jerseys there, but you had a shocking amount of TSM jerseys in the bar, despite TSM being not present there at all.
Oh,
Like people,
Yeah.
people don't understand. If you like, yes, there are a lot of TSM fans online, but to those that have never been to an event, there's even more in person. And
Yes.
any event where you can get TSM there has a drastic difference than when they're not.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. I think even with viewership the way that it is, with LCS versus LEC, because you're the only other Western, league that we can really compare it to, I think TSM still probably has the most amount of fans of any org across both. Which maybe Fnatic can rival them. G2.
That's
doesn't.
the
I
only
think-
one I could
yeah.
see.
Yeah, G2's big, but I don't think they're as big as TSM, and they're definitely not as big as Fnatic. I think so. Fnatic probably rivals TSM, but I would still give the edge to TSM because I think they're just that massive. Like
They're
because-
more memeable for
Yeah.
sure. With the
Yeah, they're
chant.
very memeable. I'll say one of
Yeah.
my favorite examples to use is when I was watching Twitch. I think like 20. I wouldn't say 2020, but it was some election year. I guess it has to be 2016. But either way, they were streaming or maybe they were doing State of the Union. Either way, it was some political event. And near the end, the crowd started chanting USA, and then the entire chat started going TSM, TSM, and I was like, wait, what? Like
Yeah.
this is completely unrelated to like League or like any other TSM team.
Yeah.
Yet everybody here is like using the TSM chant as a meme, and I'm like, okay, that's just how big TSM is.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I know it was really random because I think it was a State of the Union address. And very end, everyone's going USA, and Twitch chat's just TSM, and I'm like, what the fuck? Crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, there's so much potential. There's so much potential with League of Legends and content in general, and I hope that this year in North America that they do some huge things because I will be at every one that is possible. Like I will go out to every single event that I feasibly can go to because I want to see League of Legends thrive and succeed. So,
Has Riot ever invited you out to anything yet?
no, is the short answer. But I will say COVID seems to be like the excuse they like to use. Well, I wouldn't say excuse. I think COVID really is an issue.
Yeah.
So like I get it, but yeah, no, I haven't been invited to anything besides like whenever I did work with them this summer, they did mention that if it weren't for COVID, they would love to have had me, in LA working with them in that capacity, but instead we had to do it virtually. So that's the closest I've been to being invited. But yeah, I hope that, one day that they will, I hope that I will either be big enough or that I would have worked with them enough to have an open invite to some sort of Riot event because I love this game. It's like so huge in my life. So I'd love to partake in celebrating it.
You'll get it, man.
My guess is with your
Yeah.
Twitter, you'll be there soon, but with an org.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
If
That
I
would be
had
my
to
guess
guess.
as well. There's
Yeah.
there's,
Thank you for
there's
manifesting.
zero chance
Yep.
that it doesn't hit there.
I don't get how somebody doesn't get you because you understand or at least your like edits are way better than most of these places I'm watching. So
Thank
I
you,
am
guys. Yeah, appreciate it. And
Yeah.
you guys will be the first people I tell once that does happen.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, our poll is
Yeah.
huge, and
Yeah.
all these orgs listen to us.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and I have communicated with orgs in the past, so
Awesome.
I know that it's possible. So we'll
Let's
see
go.
where the future takes us.
I'll throw out if any orgs are watching this. One, you should probably pick up Silvxs. It would be best for your content. And two, can one of you goddamn come to New York City already? The city is waiting to be taken advantage of. We have content galore here. What the hell are you waiting for? CLG fumbled the bag. Get them the hell out. Get somebody else in. Please.
You have your team, pal.
We don't.
Accept it.
G2's the only team that's willing to put in time.
CLG is your team.
CLG is not. They're relocating to Vegas, so thankfully they will not be our team here soon. Thank Christ.
Yeah, because you guys want to back them up and support them.
Bullshit. They did nothing. They literally threw 2 at the beginning of every year. They throw 2 watch parties and give away some really easy merch, and that's it. I'm sorry, but you should be having stuff every weekend.
They gave you the greatest content ever. The Bud Light Chill Zone was probably one of the greatest videos from any org I saw in 2021. I don't know why you're laughing right now.
It was at least the most unique.
Yeah, they literally took their players in the middle of Twitter and started sacrificing them one by one. I had never watched an org just start murdering people that. Even the NFL, one of the cruelest places ever, does not just murder their players on the field.
Look, their videographer just got done watching season 3 of Game of Thrones, and he was inspired. Okay.
Probably.
Pretty much, yeah. I've never seen org just publicly execute its players, but
yeah,
it was great to watch. It made for great content.
Fantastic. It was like, what is it? What?
Or they were watching Entourage and one of their best Ari Segal or Ari Gold impression.
It was the NFL one. What's the HBO NFL stuff?
Hard Knocks.
Yes, it was Hard Knocks level when Vontae Davis gets told he's being cut from the Dolphins or traded, and they're looking at him, and he just goes, "Okay," and then walks out the room. But this one, like that one, at least he just said okay, and he got paid millions to leave. This one, Bud Light, or not Bud Light, my bad, I don't want to slander them.
Bud Light was directly responsible for CLG players getting cut. That's what Paul
CLG screwed at them and said, "Get out there, play one more game as a squad, and die." And that was the whole video. Except in a much nicer tone of, you're all going to go out there, some of you will die, some of you won't. And hopefully, like at least 3 of you will have a job tomorrow. Good luck.
Yeah.
And then the guy walked out of the room.
They basically did the meme from Shrek. I forgot what the king's name is.
Oh
Farquaad.
yeah, somebody.
Farquaad, yeah, where he's like, some of you may die, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. The players are like, wait,
Huh?
what's happening here?
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, God.
Awful.
That is
So
a good spot.
we have kept you on here for an hour and a half. I don't want to take up any more of your time if you got anything to go to, but
Well, I guess you're also East Coast, so it's 9:30. I should eat. That would be.
you
the
haven't
proper thing to
eaten
do.
yet.
Oh, you haven't eaten?
No,
Dude,
no,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Look, I have late classes. I drove from Atlanta here because I live like 40 minutes outside of Atlanta. Came here, got ready for the podcast, and
North of Atlanta or south of Atlanta?
I live north of Atlanta.
Oh, what was the town that I? Oh, so
Well, he's
when
not gonna just say his.
No, but I'm
town.
just saying I've been in that area. No, I'm just saying I've been because
True.
when I was in public audit, one of the clients that I had to go down and audit was Technicolor. They had a branch down like 40 minutes north of Atlanta. Like you had to get to the airport and like drive straight up for like 40 minutes until you got there, but I cannot remember where.
Oh, if I remember it. Send me a message. I most likely know it.
Don't make a face. But I'm gonna say, my cousins all went to Collins Hill, I think, or something like that. One of those ones around there.
To be honest, I don't know what that is.
It's like a school. It's a school that has like some wide receiver who's now first in the country. I don't know.
Fair
And kid's a dog. But that's all I know of Atlanta. Other than the Braves.
Hey, we're a championship city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy
I
it
love
while
it.
it lasts.
Enjoy
Yes.
that. Some
Trust
North
me.
America will never do.
Oh,
Boom.
Jesus,
Oh
Paul.
God.
Win a
Oh,
World
please.
Series. Well, my bad. North America will do that when we get. I don't even gotta say his name. You're all conditioned by
Okay.
now.
Yep. No, we're gonna make sure Silvxs gets some food. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to watch. For those watching on VOD as well, be sure to drop a like. Follow Silvxs on Twitter and on YouTube. My handle is @DShineock. You have Paul, who's 23, Tarios 50 on Twitter. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have anything that you're angry about that we said in this podcast about content, too bad. So sad. Should have been here live and
Love
you
you,
could have debated
Spica.
it. God damn it, he still got it off before I closed it.
I always
Oh,
know when
no.
you're about to end. I always know. You can't beat me. I know how I'm getting in my Spica quote of the week.
Y'all have a good night. Adios.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.